Hey guys, I know some of you guys are burned out on podcasts and streams, and good news, we're back to another How Not to Brony. This is Black Griffin. We have three sources, none of them are particularly good, we'll take them in turn. This is Therapy Rarity. He went on an epic rant about feeling guilty about jokes he allegedly made about Black Griffin and Michelle Kraber. Therapy Rarity has declared himself a minor attracted person in the past. Whether they are or aren't, not going to bother spending today's video on that necessarily. Now, I will read off this whole thing later, but let's stick to this excerpt here. It doesn't matter if Michelle was 5, 15, or 65 when she met Gabe, that being Black Griffin. Science says the more time that you spend with someone, the more likely you are to be attracted to them. That works both ways. Now, this whole post from Therapy Rarity is a goldmine, but I don't want to sink the whole video and make it about someone that I've covered, 4 to 5 times? So let's put a pin in that. This is Fallen Wish. I can forgive you for not knowing Fallen Wish like some other people, like say Jerry Pete, Lily Pete, or Lily Orchid, will find ways to reband so they can ditch some of their baggage, like some people like or they seem to do that 3 to 4 times a year, a small little pygmy creature thing from Tumblr. Anyways, but we're getting a little too far off track. Over here, our little Everfree Network staff member doesn't seem to quite grasp what orbiting is, and this in part might be an honest mistake. Oh, when I mean I don't think he hung with her anywhere nearly as closely as Michelle, I mean I'm pretty sure he didn't just up and start dating her as soon as she was legal. I don't know. Definitely needs more research. We're gonna need our second pin here because we're gonna need to introduce one more person. This is Wootmaster. Yesterday, an artist in the community had the unmitigated gall to suggest that Black Griffin was now dating Claire Collette. The Sweetie Belle's VA is a bit creepy because at the time they first began to pal around with each other, she was 13 and he was 23. Oh, Wootmaster. Sometimes you make this too easy.
Black Griffin, he has known her a long time.
Wootmaster isn't particularly much of a good person or a good source. Woot has gone above and beyond to get offended not for Black Griffin being called a pedophile, but at the suggestion that dating Claire Collette is creepy. Wootmaster himself has gotten busted for being an avid fan of Folocon. Now, I'm not suggesting that makes Woot a pedophile, but at best, you're weird. The creepy part of weird. I've noticed that when people try to keep an eye on you, Woot, you tend to block them. Again, that's not a straight line to making you Toon Critic. You're kind of a dishonest weasel. All 3 of these people are. So, we're going on a history lesson, not about these 3, to the most famous, or the most prolific, the god of orbiting. This is Woody Allen. Woody Allen married his adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn. I'm probably butchering that last name. According to Previn, his first friendly interaction with Allen, or her first friendly interaction with Allen, took place when she was injured playing soccer during the 11th grade, and Allen offered to transport her to school following her injury. Previn began attending the New York Knicks basketball games with Allen, so my math might be a bit off. That would put Soon-Yi at about 16, 17. If you think Woody Allen's creepy for orbiting a kid who was 16 to 17, keep in mind, Black Griffin allegedly knew Michelle Kraber or Claire Collette as far back as, let's say, 13, 14. Putting Griffin roughly at 23 at that time. In Woody Allen's case, a judicial investigation concluded that Woody Allen and Soon-Yi started their sexual relationship in December 1991. That would put Soon-Yi at 21 when things started to get spicy. Now back to Black Griffin. There have been a lot of accusations of Black Griffin and how he and Michelle have rolled with the punches. This is a joke picture that Black Griffin responded to when he was tweeted at by Corpulent Brony and Shelly D. I forgot what the statement was, but Black Griffin responded with this picture with Michelle's mouth duct taped. It's a joke. It's creepy. I'm not saying I didn't laugh. I'd also like to point out here there's this little Brazzers logo, and for those of you guys who don't know, Brazzers is a porn site. I believe Michelle may have been underage at the time, but again, it's a joke. Haha. It's a joke, and it's creepy. I'm not saying I didn't laugh. You can go watch Beetlejuice the musical for such songs as Creepy Old Man to find out that things can be creepy and funny at the same time. Now, like in Woody Allen's case, I can't climb inside of Woody Allen's mind any more than I can climb inside of Black Griffin's mind. I can't tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that Woody Allen took one look at Sunyi and rubbed his hands together, going, "Wendy, yes, she shall be mine." But to quote Dr. Wolf,
Yes, well, Black Griffin and the young Michelle Kraber, well, he's known her a long time.
now let's go back and read some of those therapy rarity tweets, and let's take them in turn. Till next time, thank you, fuck you, bye. Oh, I wanted to address this. I can't exactly say beyond a shadow of a doubt whether Black Griffin is dating Michelle Kraber or the VA from Sweetie Bloom. It's another reason why I'm just saying it raises an eye. I'm not raising a brick, I'm just concerned when I hear things like these. And it's open to discussion, and I'm glad that there seems to be people talking. I would ask people to temper their, well, tempers at this point. Let's take a look at this first post here from our most of unreliable sources, so we can all have a chuckle together. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I officially hate the Brony fandom. I'm guilty of making jokes about Black Griffin and Michelle Kraber in the past year, but now that the fandom is actively trying to cancel them for dating, and I think that's despicable. Have you ever noticed, this has just been my personal experience, when we were dealing with Headlong of Equestria, he would go back and point to Twilight Star, the girl he was dating who was 15 and underage, the same one he was buying, knickknacks for, and he'd be like, "You guys are harassing Twilight." No. She could have easily have broken up with you, and we would have never talked to her again, nor did we ever send any kind of hate. Not that I sent, or any of my immediate people. If any of my fans had done that, I'd like to apologize. As for Michelle Kraber, I don't believe I've ever tweeted at Michelle. I do tweet an awful lot. I think I've originally tweeted at Griffin back in the day when I was doing King of Limbo on a regular basis, because I remember Final Draft suggested he would make an excellent podcast guest. So, yeah. I guess this would be a good place to say don't bully or harass Black Griffin or Michelle Kraber. If you'd like to ask either of them, we'll get back to that here. I've heard complaints that he groomed her. Bullshit. He doesn't matter if Michelle was 5, 15, or 65 when she met Gabe. For a person who claims not to be a map anymore, yes, it would matter. There's certainly, you gave a blanket nuh-uh because if... and this isn't the case, as far as I know, Black Griffin had known him since 5, and I don't know, maybe they had been casually giving them candy, head pats, and doing little things to guide Michelle Kraber, which that's, again, not the case. I think that you would have an unfair advantage, especially if they went out of their way to chase off anyone that Michelle would have been interested in. Again, not the case here. Just your blanket statement is really bad. And yes, if she would have been 65, no, we wouldn't be talking about it. So yes, there'd be a pretty big difference between 5 and 65. Mr. Critical Thought. Science says that the more times that you spend with someone, the more that you are likely attracted to you. This works in both directions. Jesus, I didn't realize that you were turning into Vita. Do you have a DSM-5 ready? But no, I'll meet you on this. It's possible when you're around people that you can acquire a fondness for people, but generally speaking, there's also the idea that basically familiarity also breeds content. You can get sick of someone rather fast. That isn't necessarily the case. You're dealing in a massive blanket statement here. Let us continue on. Society is quick to point the finger at a man in anything regarding sexuality. Maybe, maybe not. Again, you gave a blanket statement, just sort of left it out there, especially when a minor is involved, because we falsely view minors as completely lacking any sort of anatomy or capacity of self-preservation. Here's something I haven't seen anyone ask. Let's pause here really quick here. Therapy rarity. The last podcast I had on, I had someone who was an advocate for minor attracted persons' rights, who said that basically we weren't giving, we were enslaving kids by not allowing them to, choose how sexually promiscuous they were, and I tried going up and down. Well, how do you feel about voting? How do you feel about drinking? How do you feel about, let's see, what's some other things? Smoking, running off to die for one's country, and at the end of that whole discussion, it seemed rather abundantly clear the only concern about kids were the same concerns that opened up the doors for adults to have sex with them. So I don't remember ever seeing you tweet about opening up freedom for younger youths other than you that seem to benefit, I guess, a map like yourself from being able to indulge themselves. You're free to come forward, Therapy Rarity, and debate me on this. I don't think you can. Let's continue on here. Don't you think that Michelle wanted to do this? Well, here's the other funny thing about that Therapy Rarity. According to Fawn Wish, they're not necessarily dating. So you kinda don't know what you're talking about. You seem like you were ready to make that. Now, don't get me wrong, I myself am a cringy shipper too, but I also try to keep those ships to some level of reasonability? Question mark? Because I know shippers can get away with crap, but you have a very sordid history with these sort of things. Don't think that she was able to say no. She can't say yes. Therapy Rarity at a certain age. If you beg to differ with me, by all means, if you decide to hit on a younger kid, we will definitely have words. We'll get to this. If she was creeped out in any way, as any of you are, no. Well, yeah, again, Therapy, you don't seem like your opinion has changed about any of this at all. You seem completely complacent. You just don't want to get busted hitting on kids again or RPing with them. Of course, you don't cause kids are always 100% innocent all the time, right? Well, no, kids are 100% stupid most of the time. The vast majority. I was a dumb younger kid. I've been around many dumb younger kids in the fandom. I think innocent isn't the right word. Ill-informed. I think I wanted to ask this question from the pod the other day with Daniel Ramos or whatever his name was. How would you have done debating yourself back when you were 15? I would have imagined that you would have grown slightly more wise in your time, and I would ask the same question of you, Therapy Rarity. Continuing on, not to mention that if Gabe really had ill intent, don't you think that he would have disregarded the law and disregarded Michelle's feelings and just raped her? Well, no, he probably didn't want to go to jail, Therapy Rarity, just like you are. Just how you don't want to get people giving you a backlash. He's not stupid. There are plenty of politicians who, if they had ill intent, well, Jesus, why don't they just run out and do it in public? Well, yeah, no one wants to go to jail. This is very... I don't... What? This is the worst argument ever. I mean, if he really is an evil person you're painting him out to be, why should he have any empathy for Michelle? Again, I'm not entirely sure that they're dating. Continuing on, I tolerated the Draw Pony scandal. So dear Therapy Rarity, I've stated in the past that the best thing Minty Root has ever done was expose Draw Ponies as a charlatan, a huckster, and a con man. That whole group over there. If you take issue with that, you could come on down and try and stop me anytime you want. And Jim Miller, Jim Miller being, I guess, a directing force on MLP, with some people have had issues with his work. I've had issues with some of Jim Miller's stances. I've seen him at cons. He seems like a very polite person. I do not agree with the harassment that Jim Miller has taken. And even the attack on me wasn't that bad. I'm offended, Therapy Rarity. Not from a lack of trying. I certainly have tried to have a go at you. That one was real damage here. So let's see here. I tolerated the Draw Pony scandal and the attack on... Okay, we already did this. But the fandom crossed the line. I hate cancel culture, but seriously, fuck ponies. Fuck bronies. No. Therapy Rarity. I'm not Tumblr like you. I raise awareness. People are free, and I've yet to have really anyone, other than one of your roleplay partners, try and say that you're not a pedophile. And to Black Griffin and Michelle Kraber, I sincerely apologize for perpetuating this kind of frankly unfunny commentary about the relationship over the years. If I could, I'd take it all back. I hope you both are very happy together. They may not be together, and they've definitely, again, if you look at this picture here with the duct tape, seem to have been able to take the joke. Like most Tumblr people, you feel that your offense dominates the field. Hope to hear from you soon.